After 27 years of marriage to my ex-wife Lucy, 55, I, 57 male, was at a crossroads. The first 20 years had been excellent, but we grew apart in the last few years. I wanted to embrace life to the fullest, taking more risks now that our children had left the house. Lucy, however, didn't share my newfound zest for life, and 3 years ago I made the difficult decision to ask for a divorce. Our children, L, 25 male, and G, 23 male, took the news surprisingly well, but it was particularly hard for Emily, 21 female. Lucy had been a stay-at-home wife, dedicating her time to volunteering, while I was the primary breadwinner with my own consultancy. I ensured Lucy was well taken care of in the divorce. She got the family home and a substantial payout. In these past few years, I've immersed myself in travel, exercise, and the sheer joy of living. I maintained a cordial relationship with Lucy, always there to lend a hand when she needed it, knowing she was struggling with the changes. I've been dating my secretary, Bianca, 33 female, for the last 2 years. Our connection was genuine, born from a shared passion for art and a mutual love for travel. 6 months ago, we decided to live together. I introduced her to my children as my girlfriend, and while my sons accepted her warmly, Emily openly expressed her disapproval, being disrespectful and rude towards Bianca. She voiced her disappointment, accusing me of leaving her mother for a young gold digger. Our discussions have primarily involved me saying, I understand that this has been incredibly hard for you. I want you to know that my love for you hasn't diminished in any way, but I have a right to my own happiness, and I was hoping you wouldn't be hostile towards Bianca. I've made significant efforts to bridge the gap with Emily, but she was previously okay. Since Bianca moved in, she's been openly hostile. She left Bianca's birthday celebration and called her a gold digger in front of everyone after I purchased Bianca a Range Rover for her 33rd birthday. This behaviour is unacceptable. I pay for Emily's college rent and provide a stipend so she can focus on studying and not working. I don't want to further ruin our relationship, but am I the idiot if I stop paying for my daughter's living expenses after she was rude to my girlfriend? You are the idiot. You started banging your secretary and then you claim this little trophy piece half your age, closer to your kid's age than yours, isn't a gold digger? Come on, it's a very creepy and a grody misuse of power to date someone you're employing. And you filed for divorce 3 years ago, then started publicly dating Bianca 2 years ago. How dumb do you think we are? With that timeline, it's extremely likely that there was an affair going on. If not, you cut it close and immediately started chasing her the second the divorce was finalized. Fabulous answer. What is wrong with people? It's just so off-key. The dude paid off his ex-wife, bought himself a girlfriend, and now wants to use his money to manipulate his daughter. He thought buying his daughter's approval would be so easy and is angry he was wrong. It makes me wonder what this newfound zest for life entailed precisely. Is that what they're calling it these days? Oh my gosh, thank you for helping me write my dad's eulogy. Dude, your daughter is right and you know it. It's not about how your daughter is acting, it's that you know she's right and would rather lose your daughter than admit you were a nasty dude who dumped their mom for a side piece. You can cut off your daughter in favour of your midlife crisis, but don't expect her to care for you in your old age. Geez, understand one thing. If a 33-year-old lady is dating you when you're near 60 and have 3 children closer in age to her, the chances that she's doing this because she loves you are pretty low. You are the idiot, and if you don't want your girlfriend to look like a gold digger, don't create situations where it seems like a lot like that. But most importantly, allow your children to be angry at you without thinking you must destroy their lives to punish them. Who cares if she's right or wrong about your much younger girlfriend? No matter how genuine your connection is, your daughter is allowed not to like her. My ex-husband and I have a nearly adult son who began driving and got his car a little over a year ago. He has a good, clean record so far with no accidents. Earlier this week, however, he had a minor road rage incident, which I'm describing as I saw on my son's dashcam footage. He was in a left turn lane at a red light behind 2 other cars. The light turned green, but the car in front didn't move. The car in front of my son and my son leaned on their horn, but they still didn't move. They blared their horns non-stop for 15 seconds, but the car still didn't move. The light turned red, and just afterward, the car in front ran the red light and made a U-turn. As the car passed him in the opposite lane, my son flipped off the driver and screamed, "Stupid witch," at the top of his lungs out the window at the driver, a woman who looked to be in her 60s or 70s. The intersection has long lights, so my son had to wait a long time for the next green light. Coincidentally, this woman lives in the same condo complex as my ex-husband and son, even though neither claimed to have ever met or recognized her, but she recognized my son and his car. She confronted my ex-husband about it a couple of days afterward. She made my son's behavior sound a lot worse than it was. She said my son threatened and intimidated her and also downplayed her actions. She said she made a tiny driving mistake and didn't give any more details beyond that. My ex looked at my son's dashcam footage and saw the whole incident. Though he agreed it wasn't as bad as she made it, he was still angry at my son. He made him apologize and told him he'd be taking away his keys for a whole week, meaning he'd have to walk to school and everywhere else. He made a big deal about not wanting his son disrespecting women and his elders or road raging. I thought his punishment was way too harsh considering the circumstances. I had a long conversation with my ex the day after he made the punishment, clarified how I felt, and demanded he give him his keys back. He stood his ground at first, but eventually, and very reluctantly, gave in since I'm the parent he spends the most time with, and thus the one who has ultimate veto power. My ex seemed unhappy about her son getting out of his punishment. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, especially if she's lying, adding stuff to make it sound worse. She shouldn't even be on the road. I don't care how inconsiderate anyone thinks they are. Everyone gets road rage at one point in time. His actions were normal. Yes, he should be talked to, and since she lives near, yes, an apology. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Anyone who denies this is lying. No one is Ned Flanders all the time while driving. I'm going with you are the idiot. The old lady isn't important here. Yes, she was a jerk and a liar, but who cares? You aren't her parent. Instead, this is about your son's behavior. He has very little time to teach him about the consequences of his actions, and it's clear you haven't done a good enough job yet if he's flying off the handle and screaming obscenities at people because he had to wait a few minutes. And that is what we're talking about here, waiting for one more turn cycle even at a long light. That was the entirety of his inconvenience. Your ex's plan was to take his car privileges for a week, so he realized this was serious. Yours was to teach your son that he can do what he wants and mommy will ensure he doesn't face consequences. This is a bad lesson. Now, maybe there is more context here where walking to school is a considerable hardship or something, but assuming it's less than an hour walk each way, yeah, I don't see the issue. Sucks your ex cave when being a good parent. My sister is living with me at the moment. Her husband cheated on her and kicked her out. They're in the middle of a messy divorce and she was pregnant when that happened. We made a nursery out of my office for her. She gave birth about 3 months ago and the baby didn't make it. The problem is that I need my office back, and since the nursery isn't being used, I asked to convert it back about a month ago. It didn't go well, so we kept it there. She isn't going back to work now since she quit. This made the office problem even worse. Before I could work on the kitchen table, but I can't concentrate since she always bothers me when working. It's affecting my job. She would have been back to work by now if she hadn't quit, and the baby would have been watched by Mom. I asked again to get my office back, but it didn't go well. She got into an argument, and she thought I was a horrible person. So, am I the idiot? I need an office back and it's my home. Edit, Mom and her don't get along well. They could come together for the baby, but they have beef. My mom told her her husband was cheating and she didn't believe her. It was a huge argument, and when the truth came, she blamed Mom for putting the idea in his head. I know for a fact my mom is refraining from saying I told you so. Forcing them to live together wouldn't be good. I don't want to even touch the non-contributing part. I pay for everything alone. Hopefully she gets the house in the divorce and it ends soon and she's able to pay me back a bit. Not the idiot. If it was her house, that would be different. But she's a guest in your house and you kindly converted it for her for a reason that is no longer needed. What happened is tragic and I feel bad for your sister, but the room wasn't hers. She's quit her job and doesn't contribute, which is an issue for another time. But if I were you, I'd change it back and not ask her. You don't need her permission. OP, I don't blame you. It's a horrible situation. It's also worth noting that an empty nursery, ready for a baby that isn't coming, will only be a constant visual reminder to your sister of her loss. Put the stuff somewhere she won't see and give it back to her when she's ready if she wants it. So your sister is blaming her husband's infidelity on your mother and demanding that you maintain an empty nursery at great inconvenience to you and your career. Has your sister always made a habit of behaving irrationally, or is this a new development brought on by her stressful circumstances? Whatever the case, encourage her to get counselling. There are often community services with sliding payment scales if she can't afford therapy on her own. There are also great support groups that could help her. Whether or not she accepts these options, if she has a history of blaming others and feeling entitled, she might not, you need to take back your office. So my girlfriend 26 and I, male 29, discovered that we will be parents to our first child. Generally, everyone was pleased with the news. However, because of the shock I felt at the time, it wasn't planned, I called my mother for reassurance, which helped. She wasn't happy. I told her over a phone call, which I understand and am likely an idiot for it. I apologised and we put it behind us. My sister has been supportive. She helped us move to a new house and wanted to take my partner out baby shopping in a few weeks. However, my mother was less helpful. We had a FaceTime about housing options and then my mother randomly asked me if my partner was on the pill. I said yes, and I've seen her take it, and she asked if I was sure, almost like she was insinuating that I was baby-trapped. I've had worries about my sister. I'm happy she's excited, but sometimes she's too much. She talked about having the baby every weekend so we could do stuff as a couple, and I said we have to consider both families. She was also concerned about us moving closer to my girlfriend's family than mine. She said I wouldn't get as much support and questioned the support from my partner, as her mother lives 2 hours away. I said she comes down every weekend to look after her mother with dementia, we'll be fine. My sister offered to pay for our gender reveal scan. We both thought this was a lovely gesture and said yes. My sister understandably wanted to come because she was paying for it. My sister told me that the one she was booking allowed for up to 5 people to go and suggested we bring my mum along. I then said my girlfriend's mum should go too if she's coming. She disagreed because it's their only involvement during the pregnancy and my girlfriend's family will be at other events. We said it's not about who we're including, it's about having support during a personal appointment, and my girlfriend doesn't want only all my family there. My mum previously said either it's just my family or no scan. I said fine, we'll pay for it ourselves. My sister then messaged my girlfriend to explain her reasoning, which left her in tears. She also said my family likes to do things separately and is a bit antisocial. They think meeting my girlfriend's mom at the scan will be awkward. We believe this kind of reasoning is selfish and not putting our wishes first. My mum and sister are getting me to understand their reasoning. I do understand it, I just don't agree with it. My girlfriend's mum isn't bothered by them not wanting her there, just more by how it's affected us. She told me not to worry about them and hugged me. She said she's happy to pay for it and for me to invite whoever I want. So, am I the idiot for refusing my sister's offer to pay for the gender reveal scan? Not the idiot. This wasn't an offer of a gift, it was a power play. I wouldn't accept their offers to pay for things like this moving forward either, because it seems like they will use these things as control over you and your girlfriend and will throw these nice gestures in your face when they don't get their own way. OP, your side of the family is drama. You're building your own family. This is a good exercise. You're starting to build and practice your boundaries. Please protect your partner and baby. Your sister is being very aggressive. I feel like she's a pretty glaring problem and she's bringing up some decisions you and your partner should both agree with. I think consider if you can trust the people who are offering help. Speaking of drama, I can't help thinking about apologising for telling his mother over the phone. What on earth is that about? Why would OP's mother be angry about this? Why would OP need to apologise for this? Why would it make him an idiot? She wanted a grand gesture, with balloons, a banner and a special gift that gets open telling her she will be a grandma. That's precisely what she was expecting. Protect your partner. And I get the feeling that your sister wants to play mum or third parent. Don't let that happen. Otherwise, your sister and mum will insist on being in the delivery room, having the first cuddle, making the birth announcement on Facebook, and so on. Oh God, what a nightmare. Update. I called my mom out for what she said about the baby trap. She apologised to me, but not to my partner, who overheard the conversation. Ever since then, she's been distant. Writing this now, I'm wondering why I'm even letting her come to the scan if my partner's mum comes, after her behaviour. My mum backpedals a lot. says something that would annoy or upset someone, and then says it was a joke. I've since told her there was backpedaling, but she's denied it. My mum's weird views on separating from my parents' family stem from her anxiety, I believe. We believe she's on the spectrum, but she's in denial about it. My sister has 3 kids already. She's desperate for a 4th of her own, but my brother-in-law keeps telling her no. My sister, I believe, wants to be seen as the best guardian, very possibly parent, to my baby. I get people telling me I need a backbone, and yeah, it's something I've worked harder in therapy to get over. Now I'm with a beautiful human being to start a family with, and while it's a shame my family couldn't be cooperative and understanding, she and our baby come first, and we need each other first and foremost. No one is dictating who cares for them or anything else. My sister, brother-in-law and nephew tween are staying with me because they have a home renovation going on right now. She asked me to put away my murder mystery novels, Hercule Poirot, so my nephew wouldn't get to them. I put the books in a drawer, but my nephew found them one day while exploring my desk and the drawers. I come home from work to find my sister scolding him for reading something she says he's too young for. And then she said I should just take all the books with me to work. I just stared at her and said, "If you want to prevent him from reading something, you can do it. It's your job. You do it yourself." My brother-in-law said I should have just apologized and agreed to do it, and that would be over instead of aggravating her with my reply. Am I the idiot for telling my sister, "Do your own job"? Not the idiot. Tell them they can leave if they have problems with your home and your items. It's incredibly selfish to behave like that when someone is doing you a favor. Also, your nephew is old enough to read Agatha Christie, plus he's learning about a totally different era in time. A little bit of Le Français and life before mobile phones and computers. Yep, I had to chuckle a bit before I could say, not the idiot. It's Agatha Christie. You aren't keeping 50 Shades in your drawer, and why is your sister allowing her son to snoop? The books even have a 10+ age level. What's going to be next? Is she going to start policing what you watch on TV because it's inappropriate for her son? Or what you eat because you need to set a good example for your nephew? It might be a good idea to tell them they need to find other living arrangements while their home is being renovated. I feel sorry for the nephew. Can you imagine growing up with such a mother? What kind of request is that? The boy should not have been looking through your stuff. It's bad manners in my culture to go through drawers in a room that doesn't belong to you, let alone someone else's home. We're taught this before we go to someone's house for the first time, so usually at 4 or 5. A tween is definitely way too old to excuse this kind of behaviour. I don't know if this is universally true though. Also, they shouldn't inconvenience you further when you do them a favour, not vice versa. Lugging books to work is heavy and tiring. Your family sounds so entitled.